is full of firsts.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Many of those firsts shaped our way of life. For 70 years, KPRC Channel 2 has been proud to be pioneers in shaping television and Houston history.
In a state the size of Texas, I hope everyone can enjoy.
Causing the storms Thursday.
Minutes before 9 o'clock, the crew's here telling her.
For the first time in a long, they had 11. You see the sum of your men.
Isn't it good to work for a place that has a sense of history? And indeed it is.
See, taking the president from Spring to College Station following.
If you have something you'd like Channel 2 Investigates to check out, call the tip line at 713-223-TIPS or email investigates@click2houston.com. Live from KPRC, this is Channel 2 News Midday.
This morning, big concerns from people in Fort Bend County where the first presumptive case of the novel coronavirus has been reported. Ahead, how people are reacting to the news.
Plus, Harris County leaders are preparing for the virus that is spreading around the world. Ahead, we're live where Judge Lina Hidalgo just discussed those preparations.
And fears over the coronavirus is having a big impact on the economy, especially the airline industry. This morning, how much money Southwest is expected to lose. We begin with the increasing concerns over the novel coronavirus in Fort Bend County. Thank you for joining us. I'm Amy Davis.
And I'm Sophia Ojeda. Right now, the CDC is working to confirm whether a Fort Bend County man is the first patient in our area with the disease. Channel 2's Brittany Jeffers is live in Rosenberg with the latest on that. Good morning, Brittany.
Yeah, good morning. We've learned that that particular patient is 70 years old and recently traveled abroad. As you mentioned, the CDC is supposed to be releasing those results within the next day or two, but many who live here in the county tell me that they are also waiting to hear about those results.
I am concerned, but at the same time, I'm trying not to let it affect my daily life. So I still go out and do things.
Personally, I think it's blown way out of proportion.
Channel 2 found a lot of varying responses this morning after health officials announced the first presumptive positive case of COVID-19 in Fort Bend County.
I know my parents are concerned, and we're concerned for the older people in the generation.
Practice good hygiene and to do the best you can. That's all you can do.
The 70-year-old patient is currently hospitalized and in stable condition. Health officials say he tested positive after he traveled abroad and then became ill upon returning to the United States.
As this case was associated with travel, at this time, we still have no evidence of community spread.
We are encouraging our families to follow the federal government's travel advisories.
Fort Bend ISD is also trying to stay a step ahead. In this video message to parents last night, the superintendent says they've taken all precautionary measures to prevent the spread of communicable diseases and will continue to hold classes at this time. As we go into spring break and families travel both domestically and abroad, he's given permission to stay home and self-quarantine without penalties of unexcused absences. While officials believe this situation appears to be isolated, many in the county are taking the preventative measures seriously.
I've been washing my hands a lot.
I just keep reminding my kids to wash their hands thoroughly.
So again, looking ahead, the CDC is expected to release those test results within the next day or two. Of course, we will keep you updated as we learn more. Live here in Fort Bend County, I'm Brittany Jeffers, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
Brittany, thank you. This afternoon, Governor Greg Abbott is scheduled to update everyone on the state's testing capabilities for the novel coronavirus. This morning, Harris County Judge Lena Hidalgo is telling us about the county's preparedness for the virus. Channel 2's Hannah McKenzie joins us live from Houston TransStar with more on that. Good morning, Hannah.
Good morning. Yeah, that press conference wrapped up just a few minutes ago. County Judge Lena Hidalgo, like you said, basically here with all of the heads from responding agencies around the county and the city of Houston. And they were all kind of gathering to discuss the what ifs, the worst case scenarios, and then running through those scenarios in order to get ahead of coronavirus and a possible outbreak if that was to happen here in Harris County. Now, basically, the judge did say it wasn't a when, it was, or a what if case scenario. She said it was a when scenario. So that's the reason that they're holding this, to kind of get ahead of everything. Emergency Response Center here is now operating a level 3, and that is an increased readiness. So they are ready to go. Dr. Purse with the Houston Health Department was also out here, and he spoke with us. He says that containing the coronavirus ultimately lands within our hands. He mentioned SARS and MERS, even the Ebola virus. He says those weren't contained by a vaccine. They were only contained when people got to grips with what was happening and kind of stepped up and took precautions themselves. Of course, that is not coughing into your hands, washing your hands with soap often, and not just relying on hand sanitizer to do all of that. And most importantly, the message here today was they don't want folks to panic. They want to get ahead of this virus so it doesn't become an outbreak. If you feel any signs or symptoms coming along, don't be worried. Just report them to your healthcare provider or physician. Reporting live here in Houston, Hannah McKenzie, KPRC Channel 2 News.
All right, thank you, Hannah. This morning, Southwest Airlines stock is taking a hit after it says it's going to be hurting financially because of the corona crisis. The Texas-based airline says first quarter revenue will be as much as $300 million lower than it predicted. The virus is causing many people to cancel flights and reschedule. Southwest says the trend is likely to continue through the end of March. Ahead at 11, how the virus has forced other airlines to make changes. And on click2houston.com, we are working to answer your most frequent questions about the novel coronavirus, including what you should do if you think you show symptoms and who may have been exposed to the patient in Fort Bend County. That's all on the homepage of our website, Click2Houston.
Breaking news now, Senator Elizabeth Warren is ending her presidential campaign. Warren reportedly announced her decision on a staff call Thursday morning. The Massachusetts senator is dropping out despite earlier assertions that she would stay in the race until the Democratic National Convention. Now, this comes after Warren had a very poor Super Tuesday showing in which Warren failed to win any states. It's unclear whether Senator Warren will endorse another Democratic candidate for president at this point.
All right, time now to take a check of the weather, and hopefully it's already started warming up out there. Okay, wait, we'll try this again.
Yes, let's do it again.
Time to take a check of the weather, and when will it warm up out there, Kimbrough?
It's starting to warm up, but very gradually. If you go outside now, it's kind of breezy, though, too, which is part of the problem. You see the camera shaking a little bit on the Southwest Freeway. That is because of the wind right now. Temperature still in the 60s, 62 at Bush, 60 at Katy, Hobbies at 62, Galveston 62 degrees as well. Look at what's going to be happening here. We are breezy. Those clouds are going to be giving away here. We're going to have some more sun later on this afternoon, I promise. About 70, 72 degrees for us this afternoon for highs. Tonight, we're going to see chilly air return. We've got drier air coming in. We're going to have clearing skies. We're going to have a lot of opportunities for the heat to escape the atmosphere, so our temperatures will go back into the 40s. So if you're out late tonight, tomorrow morning, you're going to need that jacket. And then Friday, mostly sunny. We're going to be in the low 70s going into the weekend. So very nice. Here are the temperatures. 57 still in Liberty. Everybody else in the low 60s, and Palacios at 64. Look at these winds. 15, 14 miles an hour from the northwest, 21 miles an hour in Galveston, 16 in Palacios. So that's what I'm talking about in terms of the wind. Clouds stubborn right here, but you see the rest of the state's pretty much clear. The rain that we had yesterday is off to the east coast. We're going to not be seeing any of that. We've got clear skies, and the temperatures for us today are going to be on the cool side for the morning, but by the time we get to the afternoon, we're going to be in the low 70s. We'll talk about that 10-day forecast going into what looks like to be a pretty nice weekend ahead. Amy?
All right, I like it. We know it can be hard to keep up with all those temperatures. You can track them anytime you want by downloading Frank's free forecast weather app. Just search KPRC in your Apple or Android app store.
In other news, a worker is dead after being trapped in concrete at a plant in Rosenberg. Now, according to investigators, someone discovered the man stuck in concrete just before 1 a.m. and called 911. But by the time first responders arrived, it was too late. Right now, investigators are focusing their attention on a concrete hopper where the man was found. The Fort Bend County Sheriff's Office is spearheading the investigation and has not yet released that man's identity.
Child Protective Services is investigating a preschool in Northwest Harris County after a 5-year-old girl died. This all unfolded yesterday evening. Investigators say crews were called out to Kleinbrook Community Preschool when someone realized the little girl was not breathing. The child was flown to Memorial Hermann, where she later died. According to the Harris County Sheriff's Office, the child showed no obvious signs of trauma. No charges have been filed at this time.
The death toll from Tuesday's tornado outbreak in Tennessee is at least 24, but search teams are still looking for victims, and the number of missing people is way down. The twister that hit Putnam County was an enormous EF4, packing winds of 175 miles per hour. It left a debris field of over 20 football fields wide. Among the dead, at least 4 children under the age of 10. As the community continues to mourn their deaths, survivors of that storm, they are trying to recover, with neighbors hurting. Others are pitching in to help.
We're still breathing, you know. There's people out there that lost loved ones, and it's a worse situation than we are.
What's that been like? How many people have come out to volunteer?
Oh my gosh. Over hundreds. It looked like there was 1,000 people up there.
It's amazing to see how many people.
It's crazy.
The National Weather Service says this was the deadliest tornado in 7 years, the worst since a monstrous EF5 tornado killed 24 people in Oklahoma. Well, now to the future of space, where today we are expecting to get new details on a highly anticipated plan by NASA.
Yeah, that plan is to return astronauts to the moon and even Mars. NASA head Jim Bridenstine will lay it all out today at a hearing in Washington, D.C. And we know the plan involves landing humans on the moon again by 2024, but the path to Mars is still a mystery.
NASA also expecting to announce the name of its new Mars rover today, only known as Mars 2020. Right now, we'll find out the name at 12:30. NASA got help from students across the country to help name this rover. The rover itself is expected to take off from Mars this summer from Florida.
Well, it is by far the best time to visit Washington, D.C. when all the cherry trees blossom.
And it is a beautiful sight. Coming up, when the National Park Service expects a peak bloom and whether the coronavirus crisis will affect the festival there.
Plus, why police say a fast food worker ended up pulling a gun and shooting a customer. How the restaurant is now responding.
Also, new images on the aftermath of a helicopter crash. Next, what witnesses say caused the chopper to go down moments after taking off.
Caught on camera, rescue efforts after a helicopter carrying the Philippines National Police Chief and 7 other people crashes after hitting a power cable on takeoff today. According to a police spokesperson, the helicopter whipped up a thick cloud of dust as it took off and then got tangled in a power line. 2 people were on board and they were critically injured. The victims were pulled from the wreckage by police officers and taken to the hospital.
Now to Decision 2020. As we reported earlier, Senator Elizabeth Warren has dropped out of the race after a disappointing Super Tuesday. Meanwhile, as California continues counting votes, Joe Biden is building on his huge comeback, while Bernie Sanders has started pointing out their differences. This morning, Tracy Potts is tracking the campaigns from Washington.
Former Vice President Joe Biden is riding an election high after winning 10 of 14 states on Super Tuesday. He's vowing not to go negative on Senator Bernie Sanders.
Doesn't do anything to help any one of the candidates who are left in the campaign. So we have to keep our eye on the ball.
I like Joe Biden. He's a very decent guy.
Sanders still waiting on results from California that will decide how that state's 400-plus delegates will be split. Moving forward, Sanders admits he's got a problem with black voters.
We're running against somebody who has touted his relationship with Barack Obama for 8 years. Barack Obama is enormously popular in this country in general and in the African-American community.
Sanders' progressive supporters insist he is still very much in the game.
Every single exit poll showed that the voters actually cared about many of the policies
that Senator Bernie Sanders is campaigning on.
Michael Bloomberg dropped out. Like other candidates, he's endorsing Biden. Bloomberg can only give the Biden campaign $2,800. What he can do with his billions, set up a super PAC to contribute a lot more. Tracy Potts, NBC News, Washington.
Tonight at 10, where do you get your political info?
I get it from Facebook or Instagram, social media. I get it from the local news at night, the national news sometimes as well, family, friends.
Channel 2 investigates how to know if what you're seeing and hearing is the truth or fake news. That's tonight at 10. 2 people in Atlanta were injured after a disagreement over a fast food order ended in gunfire. Police say the suspect, a Checkers employee, was taken into custody. One of the victims says words were exchanged during an argument before the worker pulled a gun on them. One victim was grazed by a bullet, the other shot in the neck. The 24-year-old suspect is now charged with aggravated assault. A Checkers official says the franchise is fully cooperating with police.
Washington, D.C. is not letting the coronavirus concerns wash out its Cherry Blossom Festival. The annual event is set to proceed as planned. Today, the National Park Service announced the expected peak bloom will be March 27th through the 30th. With almost 500,000 people expected to travel to D.C. for the festival, concerns of coronavirus are front and center today. The National Park Service says the city can expect to see some blooms as early as next week.
Pretty. It's so pretty that time of year.
It is, and the smell is wonderful too.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
It's really neat. And we have that when our orange blossoms bloom. You know, we have a lot of trees that bloom, and it's really nice too. So wonderful stuff. Hey, look at our picture. We have a nice little shot here, a Captain Sinus relief shot. You can see those clouds are moving out. I told you they'd be moving out.
Yeah. You did. I believed you.
No fake news here. It's all truth right here. Total truth. Well, maybe sometimes we miss.
No.
Most of the time it's true. Outside, temperatures are comfortable, 62 with a dew point of 47. That means it's dry, which is comfortable. I think we'll take that. We're cooler than we were this time yesterday, though. 12, 13 degrees cooler right now. We had that rain coming in with the warm air around it. Now we have the cooler air coming in to be a part of our day for today. 63, 62 degrees, 62 in Pearland, 62 in Galveston. Everybody loves 62 and 63 degrees right about now. The dew points and the humidities, look, you can see where the humidity still is. Those clouds are still moving out, so the humidity's still there. We still have drier air that's going to be coming in from the north, and so the drier air is going to help add to the fact that our temperature is going to be colder tomorrow morning. Here's a look at the wind speeds now from the north, 14, 15 miles an hour, 17 in Sugar Land. So a little bit on the brisk side, if you will. Some gusts are a little bit higher. We've got 22 miles an hour gust in Wharton, 23 in Pearland, and Angleton's at 22. So that's the picture, and it's going to be that way for a little bit until high moves on out of here. We've got high pressure with this rotation around it. We've got big area of high pressure to the north flowing down to the south here as well. This surface high is going to be moving to the east, and as it does so, we'll see those wind speeds kind of diminish. Here's a big picture on the map here. This is the rain that we had through yesterday, still causing a lot of problems in Georgia, North Florida, South Carolina, moving up the coast there, they'll have that issue. We'll have clearing skies and better conditions with Pacific moisture coming in from the upper levels of the atmosphere, so it's going to be kind of nice. If you look at what's going on right now, here's the exact track radar. You can see that we have the clouds moving out. Clearing skies are going to be in play here. And by the way, look at the dry air that's coming in. Upper levels of the atmosphere showing that really dry air. That's going to help dry out the atmosphere. And here's the rain we were talking about on the eastern seaboard. Normally we're 70 degrees. We're going to be close to 72 degrees today for a lot of the area. And so that's pretty comfortable. I think we'll take that with the sunshine that's going to be around. No rain to speak of, but we'll see some rain in the 10-day forecast. But tonight, if you're going out to the rodeo, headliner, boy, it's going to be kind of nice out there tonight. Becky G, 62 degrees, showtime. Get out and enjoy it. Here's a 10-day look at the forecast, and you see those temperatures staying rather nice in the low 70s for the most part. The rain doesn't come back in the forecast until Monday, after you remember to spring forward. Okay, so you have a little bit more sunshine going into the next week. You lose an hour of sleep.
Yeah, we'll try to look on the bright side. You've got a little more sunshine.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Thanks, Carol. Coming up, the airline industry is being sucker punched by the coronavirus crisis. Ahead, what United has been forced to do because of a drop in demand.
Plus, South by Southwest is scheduled to start next week in Austin, the major company that's already pulling out because of the coronavirus crisis.
Channel 2.
Now to consumer news related to the coronavirus crisis. A giant in the media industry is dropping out of South by Southwest.
Netflix pulling out of the festival over coronavirus concerns. This year's conference, scheduled to start March 13th in Austin, health officials there say they don't have plans to cancel the event. Medical officials say there's no evidence that closing SXSW would make the area more safe. South by Southwest is an annual conference that combines music, technology, media, and film.
The coronavirus crisis is affecting airlines in a big way. United is announcing big cuts in its schedules. It announced that flights in the U.S. and Canada will be cut by 10% in April. Overseas flights will also be slashed by 20%. The big reason? Cruise ships quarantined, meetings and conferences called off, corporate travel curtailed, study abroad programs and school trips are being canceled. Well, yesterday, airline CEOs conveyed their concern at the White House.
This is a time unprecedented in our history that we need to be absolutely understanding of people's travel plans.
With airline stocks in deep decline, United now says it's offering unpaid leave to employees.
Those airline problems come as many people are putting spring break and summer vacation plans on hold due to the coronavirus outbreak.
Yeah, that's leaving a lot of people wondering, should they get trip insurance or will they get all of their money back if they do? I spoke to travel experts to get some answers. As the number of coronavirus cases rise, so do concerns from travelers.
I work in a hotel, and I know we've lost business because of it.
But now we just kind of like stay home right now, stay safe.
Fears contributing to a growing interest in travel insurance.
So far, a total trip cost of $1,000.
With phones ringing off the hook at the call center for Insure My Trip, a site that compares travel insurance plans from dozens of providers.
Right now, we're seeing growth numbers in the 200% range.
Most policies will not cover a trip cancellation due to coronavirus concerns. A premium cancel for any reason policy allows you to do just that. But it is time sensitive and expensive. One quote for a $5,000 cruise priced a typical travel insurance plan at $144. The cancel for any reason policy was $563.
I think you really have to carefully consider whether or not the premiums that you're going to pay for that type of coverage are worth their cost.
You'll want to check directly with travel providers first. Many now offering to waive change and cancellation fees for affected areas.
You just have to be careful, but also you can't just live in a state of paranoia either.
Concessions travel companies hope will keep Americans on the move in the wake of an outbreak. Well, coronavirus cases are increasing worldwide, with 96 countries now reporting infections.
Ahead, a look at how some countries are closing large events in hopes of protecting the public.
Plus, shopping for health insurance without the frustration. Channel 2 investigates how some people have been able to lower their bills by more than $400.
Channel 2 is working to help you plan your route around town with our new What's Driving Houston webpage. There, you'll find an interactive map showing you any backup spots across town. It also includes maps showing inbound and outbound drive times all day long. Just go to clicktohouston.com/traffic.
Live from KPRC, this is Channel 2 News Midday.
Welcome back to Channel 2 News at Midday. Here's a look at some of the morning's other big stories.
We begin with those growing concerns over the novel coronavirus in Fort Bend County. Right now, the CDC is working to confirm whether a Fort Bend County man is the first patient in our area with the disease. Health officials say the 70-year-old man tested positive after he traveled abroad and became ill upon returning to the U.S.
Harris County judge wrapped up a news conference on how the county is preparing for the virus. The judge has been meeting with the county's top health officials on developing a plan. All discussed what if worst case scenarios and ran through each in order to get ahead of coronavirus and a possible outbreak if that were to happen in the county. We're told emergency management is now operating at a level 3, which is an increased readiness. There are currently no confirmed cases of coronavirus in Harris County.
And later this afternoon in Austin, Governor Greg Abbott and the Department of State Health Services will provide an update on state testing capabilities for coronavirus. That news conference starts at 2 p.m. We'll be sure to bring you the latest on air and online. Well, worldwide, coronavirus cases are increasing with fears of further spreading.
Schools are closed, large events are canceled in some of the hardest hit countries. This morning, NBC's Ali Arouzi has the latest from London.
The coronavirus continues its troubling spread around the world. South Korea reports 438 new cases and 3 additional deaths, bringing the nationwide total number of infections to 5,766. 96 countries and territories have banned travelers from South Korea, underscoring just how serious the outbreak is there. Italy, which is suffering the most serious outbreak in Europe, has confirmed that it'll shut all schools from today for at least 10 days. A total of 107 people have now been killed by the corona outbreak in Italy. In Iran, there are 3,513 confirmed cases with 107 deaths, giving Iran and Italy the highest mortality rate outside of China. Iran has also decided to shut all schools and universities till the 4th of April. And the virus even seems to be changing our social customs. Instead of shaking hands, hugging or kissing, people are fist bumping, making heart signs, and even knocking their feet together in a kind of light-hearted, jokey manner. Ali Arouzi, NBC News, London.
Well, even if it's lighthearted, it's a good idea, you know.
Yeah,
Say
exactly.
hello without shaking hands.
Exactly, absolutely. Time to...
You're not talking about the foot tapping thing, are you?
Not the foot tapping thing necessarily, but the fist bumps.
I call EMS if I do that.
Right.
Balance would just be gone, I'm sure. Good idea. You people, you guys could be great at that because you're like gazelles.
We're
Maybe
gazelles. Yeah, we've got
No. Hey, look at Galveston, overcast skies. Remember that shot we looked at earlier?
Yeah.
From our shot, you saw the sun, and it hasn't gotten to Galveston yet. So it will in a little bit, though. Temperature's still on the cool side. 62 degrees there, same thing at Hobby and Bush Intercontinental. 64 at Katy, but that's 62 with north-northwest winds at 21 miles per hour. So yeah, quite uncomfortable, quite frankly. If you're planning on taking a boat out, not the best of days. 10 to 15 mile an hour winds later on, 4 to 6 foot seas. That lets you know it's kind of, yeah, you got to be a pretty good sailor to do that. Light chop on the bays. So just know that that's the case today. 68 degrees, I think we'll get to for your high temperature. Water temperature 64 degrees. Right now we see the surf is knee to thigh high. A slight rip current risk always, we put that in just in case. Here's a look at the hour-by-hour forecast in with the Galveston temperatures. 1 to 3 to 5, 67, 68, 67 degrees with those north winds at 10 to 15 miles an hour. That sun's going to be coming out. There's going to be less clouds, fewer clouds by 5 o'clock. It's going to be fabulous heading into a great weekend. We'll talk about the rodeo forecast and your 10-day look at what's ahead coming up.
All right, thank you, Cambrell. And remember, you can track your forecast anytime you want. Just download Frank's free forecast weather app. You can search KPRC in your favorite app store. Well, the coronavirus crisis has people thinking a lot more about their health and health care. More than 25 million Americans have no health insurance of any kind, and of course, cost is a huge factor.
Now, a brand new company is hoping to completely shatter the traditional health insurance model, making health care cheaper and easier to understand. Investigator Bill Spencer shows us a new way to buy health insurance.
So here's my son Trey. He's running at a track meet or a cross-country meet, I believe it was.
J.J. Holly, a proud father from the Woodlands, watches video of his 20-year-old son Trey racing down a running track.
Is he pretty healthy, your son? Yeah, he's still pretty healthy.
But with Trey living away at school, J.J. soon realized his son would need health insurance. But when he checked the price to add his son to his insurance coverage, he learned it would be $600 a month for a healthy young man.
He needs to be covered. What are we going to use?
That's when JJ discovered a brand new kind of health insurance company called Sidecar Health that offers health coverage up to 40% cheaper than traditional health plans.
We were able to go from a potentially $600 a month bill to health insurance for him that would be $180 a month.
We started Sidecar to lower the cost of health insurance for everybody in America.
Enter Patrick Quigley, who created Sidecar after he was forced to pay $1,300 for an MRI through his traditional health insurance. A few weeks later, he needed a second test, but this time decided to pay for it himself in cash.
I happened to ask the office, hey, can I just pay for this cash? It'll just be easier for me. And they said, sure, it'll be $330. And that blew my mind that at the same location with the same
same doctor, I could pay $1,300 through my traditional insurance, or I could pay $330 cash.
That's when Quigley started Sidecar Health, an insurance company that eliminates a mountain of paperwork by giving every member a Sidecar credit card that they use to pay their doctors directly at the time of service. So how does that save you money?
The providers don't have to deal with the back and forth with the traditional insurance company. They don't have to send paperwork back and forth. They don't need to argue about what something's covered or how it was billed. They just get paid. It's cheaper for the doctor, so it's cheaper for the patient.
I want to join Sidecar Health. What do I do?
Well, the first thing you do is you come to our website.
On the website, Quigley shows us the price of 3 standard plans for an average 30-year-old male with no major health problems. The budget plan costs $165 a month for exactly $10,000 in health coverage. The standard plan is $199 a month for $25,000 in coverage, and the premium plan costs $279 for up to $2 million in coverage a year. Sidecar covers up to 170,000 medical procedures. It also shows you what that procedure should cost and what Sidecar will pay, so you know exactly what you'll have to pay out of pocket. And one more thing, Sidecar shows you a map of what different doctors in the area are charging for your procedure, so you can shop for the very best price.
Dr. Ramirez is charging $74 to go do a typical office visit. And again, we pay a fixed price of $143. So that if you go see Dr. Ramirez, you're getting about $70 back in your account for next time.
Sidecar does the same thing with pharmacy prices.
Look at the variation of what our members can expect to pay here. I mean, it's everything from $96 if I go shop at this particular pharmacy, all the way to getting $8 cash back to my account if I go shop at this pharmacy.
As for JJ, he figures he'll save more than $5,000 this year going with Sidecar instead of traditional health insurance. And he knows exactly what his son will be getting for that money.
He gets $25 grand worth of coverage. So if he gets a sinus infection, he can go to the doctor, he can use that card, he can swipe it, pays the cash price, he's in and out.
Now, you should know that Sidecar Health is not for everybody. It's geared toward people who don't already have health insurance through their employer. And you need to realize the limitations as well, meaning if you buy $25,000 worth of coverage, you're going to get exactly that, $25,000 to spend on health care for the entire year, and that is it. Everything after that is out of pocket. If you want more coverage, you can buy more coverage. Finally, remember, the price you pay for Sidecar will be custom tailored to fit you and your needs. I'm Bill Spencer, KPRC. Channel 2 Investigates.
If you have a story for Channel 2 Investigates, we'd love to hear from you. We've made it pretty simple. Just call our tip line, 713-223-TIPS, or you can send an email that the whole team will see. The address, investigates@kprc.com. Well, it was a big night at Rodeo Houston as the redheaded stranger took the revolving stage.
Yeah, he brought in a big crowd, more than 70,000 fans.
Whiskey River, take my hand. Torture me. Whiskey River, don't run away. For all I got, take care of.
Willie Nelson put on quite the show and played some of his classic hits. This is his 11th rodeo performance. Tonight, Becky G is taking the Houston Rodeo stage. It is her first appearance. You can still get tickets if you want to go. Her show starts at 6:45 this evening. The rodeo's at 6:45. Her show's at 8:45.
There you go. All right, well, it's something we all dread doing, our taxes. Now the Better Business Bureau has a warning.
Yeah, coming up, it involves ghost tax preparers. Ahead, what they mean by that and how it can be a big problem for you with the IRS.
Plus, everyone is being asked not to shake hands due to the coronavirus crisis. Coming up next, a look at some alternatives to a greeting so you don't come off as rude.
But first, we've got a live look at Wall Street.
Well, it is the first thing many folks do when they meet someone new is shake their hand. But coronavirus concerns have health officials suggesting a real change to that.
Yeah, this morning, Catherine Cook explores some alternatives to the tried and true greeting that could help slow the spread of the illness.
Fear of catching coronavirus is changing the way we greet each other. In Germany, no handshake for Chancellor Angela Merkel from one of her cautious ministers.
Hey, man.
That works. People are getting downright creative to avoid hands.
I didn't catch a disease, right?
I don't know, you may have.
Maybe just nod? I don't know. But what about manners and respect? Tip of the cap to John Helmer haberdasher. John Helmer III learned the business from his dad and his grandfather,
who is the founder, 1921.
They built this century-old store on thousands of handshakes and what they represent.
We're in a real people business, and so it's just natural to come in and shake the person's hand. So with our new reality, it makes it a little more difficult.
Nice to meet you, John.
So why do we shake hands?
I have talked a lot about social norms.
We asked Dr. Lauren Frank, Associate Professor of Communication at PSU.
It tends to be a social norm. So we grow up observing what other people do, learning what is the way that we should acceptably behave, and that automatically becomes we put our hand out to say hello and greet somebody when we're first meeting them.
Dr. Frank says changing social norms is hard, especially when it means potentially offending someone. To get out of handshakes gracefully, Dr. Frank suggests just being honest.
Go with verbals pretty strongly and say, hi, how are you, or something like that, and then say, I'm not shaking hands right now, and put our hand down.
And if none of that suits you, like a firm grip,
it's the way we greet people.
You and John Helmer can shake on it. Then wash your hands thoroughly with soap and water.
That'll be my solution because I don't really want to give up shaking hands.
Well, to help prevent the spread of the disease, the CDC recommends that you wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds, especially after going to the bathroom, before eating, and after blowing your nose or coughing. They also say stay home when you're sick and make sure to disinfect frequently touched objects and surfaces using a regular household cleaning spray or wipes.
A consumer alert this morning from the Better Business Bureau. Be careful about your taxes and so-called ghost tax preparers. That's when an uncertified individual does your tax paperwork, which can lead to problems for taxpayers. The ghost tax preparer does all the paperwork and math for the tax return, but ends up not signing that return. As a result, the taxes are considered self-filed by the taxpayer, and now it may not seem like a big deal, and sometimes it isn't unless something's wrong with your tax return. Since the taxes are considered self-filed, the taxpayer is now liable for omissions and errors like underpayment and negligence.
Hey, have you ever sent a tweet that you've regretted? If you just have to make your thoughts known, Twitter is testing a new feature called Fleets. They're posts that disappear after 24 hours. So this is currently only available in Brazil. Unlike normal tweets, Fleets do not receive retweets, likes, or public replies, and users can only react or respond to them with direct messages, a lot like Instagram's Stories feature.
But there is screen grab.
Amen.
So you'll always be.
Remember when they used to say, like, write a letter and then put it in your drawer, put it away,
Right.
and then when you wake up the next day, if you still feel the same,
Right.
mail it out to everyone. I'm just kidding, right?
I've typed a number of things and I just don't send it.
Right,
You know, and
yeah.
then delete it and I feel so much better.
There you go.
I type it out and I send it and
Do you?
reprint it. I'm just kidding.
Hey, if you don't have to worry about it today, but those who are concerned about the haircast today, it's not a good one. Breezy, upper 60s for the day, 70s, so it's going to be breezy throughout the day. And oh my goodness, the pollen is just ferocious. The tree pollen. I parked my car not even close to a tree, and within 10 minutes it had like that orange stuff on it. It's just not good. Anyway, so it's very high. The tree and the ragweed, none. Grass, moderate. Mold is low. The tree is really what gets us, and that's going to be around for a little bit. Take a look outside here. Temperature still nice and cool. 60, we're up a little bit. 64 in Cleveland, 63 in Conroe. Still in those low 60s, those 62, 63 degrees, with those winds from the northwest, 10 to 15 miles an hour. So that is what's causing some uncomfortable moments for you here. It's going to be the case here going forward here because this high pressure will slide. This high pressure is going to slide on over, and when it does, we'll get those clouds out of here, and it'll be nice and sunny for us as we go into the week ahead. I want to show you a couple of things. So Pacific moisture still there. That's there for the moment, but the high pressure is going to be sinking air, and that's going to help dry us out a little bit. And tomorrow morning, you'll notice that. Here's the rain on the East Coast. Still going on here. South Carolina moving up to North Carolina, causing some flood issues there in the southeastern part of Georgia as well. So that's what we had around us yesterday. For us looking ahead, the Futurecast model shows that this rain is moving on out of here. This is today, and you notice that we go into tomorrow into Saturday. Here's Friday. We still have nice clear skies. As we go into Saturday, we get a few more clouds starting to come into play, and we'll have more clouds as we go Sunday as well, because we have rain coming back in the forecast on Monday. But we're not going to have enough clouds to really mess up our day, so it's going to be kind of nice. For us today, we're in the low 60s, as you saw. Later on this afternoon, we'll be going up to about the 70, 72 degree mark. That's 2 o'clock. Going up to 4 o'clock today, we'll be in the 72 degree range, and those winds will continue to be from the north, but it's going to be sunny. Those clouds have moved on off, and you'll say, wow, that's kind of nice. We'll be warmer than we normally are. That's a normal 70, and we're going to be about 72 degrees, so nobody's going to complain about that. You look at the 10-day forecast then, we're going to be in these low 70s today and tomorrow. And then as we go into the weekend, that all-important weekend, Roughnecks playing, we got spring forward. Don't forget to do that. We get cooler on Saturday before we warm up a little bit. We have a reinforcing front that's going to come through Friday, Saturday time period. That's where those clouds were around. It's not going to bring any rain, but it will bring us a little bit cooler air. But starting on Monday, we start to get a little rain back in the forecast going into the middle of the week. So I think you enjoy that going forward here. Temperatures will be back toward 80 degrees as we get toward the end of this 10-day period. Going into next week, we'll be in this time next week, we'll be talking about 78, going into 80 degrees going forward. So another spring-like day. We go on that roller coaster quite a bit, don't we?
Yeah, but it seems like today's going to be really nice.
I think it is.
I'll take a good weekend. Hey, do you like seafood?
Depends on what kind.
Well, you're in for a real big treat because HEB is preparing
I love all of this.
Salmon. Yeah, they're talking about how to make some delicious salmon coming up after the break. That looks so good.
Oh, it does.
To play.
All right, hey, welcome back. It is cooking time with HEB. Joining us now is Chef Jose with some delicious cooking tips just in time for Lent, just in time for the rodeo.
Right.
First of all, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yes,
and
okay.
We're trying to balance both, right? Rodeo and all that meat, and then some of us are trying to do Lent also.
Right.
So HEB is for Texans. We're in Texas. We're always proud to present Texas flavors. So we do have our Tex Fest going on right now at your local HEB. So we have some amazing products. Right now, when you purchase any of our Cookwell & Company marinades, you're going to get a free pickled item, so that's a really good pairing for any combination that you can do on any meat. But we also have the sop and sauce. The easiest way to describe the sop and sauce, it has like 40 ingredients in it. So,
wow.
But I always tell people, think about a combination between a barbecue sauce and a steak sauce. So you get like sweetness, you get savory. It's amazing.
Yum.
So right now, $2 off. I'm doing an awesome mushroom gravy on what I'm calling a salmon Wellington.
Okay.
So if you want to do, you still want to do a Lent recipe, but you want to do instead of a beef Wellington. So it looks kind of scary. It's like probably the prettiest thing that I've ever made. It's so nice. And it's actually a recipe by our dear friend, Chef Catherine, who couldn't be here with us today. But I'm going to show you how to make it in just like a minute. So I've got my puff pastry laid down in my cutting board, and I've got salmon. I've got a mixture of spinach, cream cheese, and some Parmesan cheese. Just lay that flat on top of your salmon. And all you're going to do is, looks a little bit scary, but just take that one time.
Yeah.
One side. You're going to pull it around the other side.
Like a little baby burrito.
There you go.
There you go. So pretty.
And after this, I like to pinch the edges.
Okay.
Just pinch them together.
Now, is that salmon cooked when it goes in there?
No, it's completely raw.
Okay, got it.
So it's going to cook along with the puff pastry. I like to trim the edges as well.
Just to make it
just to make it nice and tight.
Edge. Yes.
And then what I'm going to do is flip it over.
Okay.
So you can have a nicer, more flat surface.
And you want to do the cuts across?
Right.
Okay.
So we're gonna make diamonds today with.
I love diamonds.
Right? Especially on a piece of fish, right? And then here, I'm gonna just make diagonally, I'm gonna go across.
Oh, pretty.
And it's kind of funny because it actually looks like fish scales if you look at it. So it's kind of cool.
Pretty.
So I'm gonna go one way.
And make sure it goes all the way through so you've got some ventilation.
Right.
Okay.
And it also like puffs up in between. It looks so nice. So I'm gonna go across the other way.
So pretty. And then we're just running out of time, so I want to let folks know where they can get more info on this recipe.
Yeah, so the recipe is going to be on our website and also in our stores. So you're just going to cover it with some egg wash and then goes in the oven for 25 minutes. And you're ready to go.
350? 350 degrees?
400 degrees.
400 degrees.
Yeah.
And then it'll look beautiful like this one. Chef Jose, thank you so much. Don't forget to get your sauces and your pickled items at HEB. We're coming right back.